think a little bit of both. Just kind of the pressure, everything that was going on in my life at the time, and then also too just the stress of trying to, kind of reconnect. It was partially music. It was partially the stress of going from an American tour and then just coming up with a European tour. Just kind of blacked out for a minute.
Why have we never seen Usher go crazy? Because you've been around since you was 14. And like
I don't
see
let
what
you
happened
see
with your Protege Bieber and all them. Like, why have you never gone crazy? Because it wasn't the social media era or what?
I think that we all go crazy in our mind. It's a matter of what you choose to show and the balance of what people choose to hold on to.
He went crazy, I think, once or twice. I think he cursed out
I don't never remember
Yeah.
Usher going crazy ever.
Did you curse out Miss Jones one time?
I think I did.
Yeah, you cursed out.
You did.
Cursed out Miss
I
Jones
can't
one time.
imagine you
Yeah.
I
cursing
remember what it
anybody
was.
out.
He called on the phone, I believe, one time. Cursed
What'd he
out.
say?
I don't remember. I just
no,
remember
he
doing
ain't gonna roll the tape back. Thank God.
No, not roll the tape,
No,
but
we
I'm
ain't
just
got that tape. We
wondering.
ain't got that tape.
I can't imagine what would make you so. What makes?
I don't even remember. That's the point. It's crazy. But yeah, I mean, hey, everybody has a range of. We all go through. You know what I'm saying? We all kind of go through something, and I think people just choose to check into your life when it's relevant for them or when you promoting something. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then otherwise, it's just like, on to the next conversation. Social media, all of them kind of give you an opportunity to wild out a little bit. Yeah, y'all seen me in the steam shower.
We seen your penis.
Yeah, we seen
Why
that.
didn't see your penis? I saw a smiley
Well,
face.
he
over
You
it.
were
tried to
looking
hide
at my
it.
penis?
No, I saw the smiley face over
Okay.
it.
Well, it's
huh?
you know what,
blew it up.
Usher? It's a good thing an emoji can't hide your penis. Okay, it should be big enough that it
What was
creeps
that
out
about,
behind
though,
the
Usher?
emoji.
Like, why was...
And why are you asking the question
What do you mean?
about his penis in the shower?
He brought his penis up.
And you said you seen it.
No,
You
I
asked
brought the
about it.
steam shower up. I ain't bring my penis
you're right,
up.
you're
You
right.
start talking about my penis.
Okay.
I
you're
just was showing them the picture too again.
She was. I'm
It's
not
a
gonna lie.
refresher.
You keep it in your phone?
Yeah, I was like, listen, I'm glad that emoji couldn't hide it, man. 'Cause if you have an emoji over your penis and you can't see the penis, then obviously
I don't think you could really see my penis.
you can see it.
You
I don't know if
could.
it was like a shadow. I feel like I saw like pieces.
Nah,
You
you couldn't
were
really.
looking that hard? You damn it.
You couldn't really see it, right?
It's a
There was some
pieces.
girth
Pieces
coming out
of
the
a
sides
penis?
of the emoji.
Goodness gracious.
How did that happen? You was having a young OG moment. Sometimes us young
Nah,
OGs
man.
get
He was
on this
doing
new
a tour of the
technology, and
house.
we like, oh.
He was doing a tour of the house, and then he stripped down in the steam shower in the sauna, and he was keeping it real.
I was
Watch the
blowing
whole
off steam,
video,
man.
you
You know,
damn.
I just
Listen, if I get a link, Usher's penis is exposed, I'm gonna look at it. Why wouldn't I?
Goodness gracious, Yee.
Why wouldn't I look?
nah, this right here proves that cough syrup and what I'm saying, and steam showers don't work. You know what I'm saying?
So you was
that
high.
ain't a good blend.
That's gonna be the headline. Usher said he was high when he leaked his penis pic. He was on syrup.
Did you think it was funny, or were you like, oh my god?
You know what? Sometimes I use Snapchat or one of them to kind of like allow you to look at my life, my day. That was it.
You said, look at
My day.
Whoa.
What are you
Damn, man. She's like, we started with Ghetto D.
Now, the theme of this new album, regret. I think I read a New York Times article and it said that.
Regret?
Yeah.
Is there any regret with the album?
Yeah, like it says, you talk about being regretful a lot.
Nah.
I feel like he's more like, I be messing up, but you gonna be with me anyway.
Nah, not really. I mean, it's been a process. Like the album ain't about just where we are. You know what I'm saying? Where men are. I mean, if you listen to music and you hear the contrast, you hear the other side, you hear women talking about some of the things that men are doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So men have to kind of go through this transformation where they finally get it, And if you look at my life and, a lot of this that I've been through and things I've done, I can't say I've been, it ain't been the greatest. So, I kind of own up to it. I don't want no more rivals. I just want to kind of straighten it out. You know what I mean? And
a man's favorite phrase is, I'm a work in progress.
That's
what
real.
men-
Yeah,
That's
that's
what
real.
men always say. When
Yeah.
they mess up, they be like, listen, I'm just a work in progress, man.
But don't you love a dude who would just say that as
That I'm
opposed to
wrong.
lying and just like, nah, you reading it wrong. That wasn't me. You ain't see it. No, Yeah, you got to own it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And I think that was part of the give back. You know what I'm saying? To make sure that men have that kind of record to make it a little bit easier to get over that hump of just having the conversation, man.
Right.
Now, you've always had a thing for older women, Usher.
Yep.
Why is that?
There's no reason. There's no logic behind, who I've chosen to spend my time. I like younger women too. You know what I'm saying? Like I've had a variety.
Yeah.
But
When it comes to age, there's no limit.
I love
You're
that.
good today, Yee. You all
There
right?
is a limit. I don't go too low. I don't go too low.
I always wonder if it's because you started in the game early. So a lot of people your age probably couldn't relate to what you was going through, maybe?
I mean, my first single was Can You Get With It? You know what I'm saying? At 14 years old, what the hell did I know about any of it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But nah, that ain't it. I just, I just choose, based off of who I know I resonate with and I connect with. It ain't got nothing to do with age or anything specific. It's like if you connect with somebody, then you gel with them. That's it.
I love older women too. Patti LaBelle is my woman crush.
You
every
like them
day.
pies?
Patty's
Yes.
You want them pies?
Yes, I
He
do.
goes hard.
She's
at
He go
Patty.
hard. He go hard for them
He
pies.
go hard for Patty. To the
Now-
point where Patty's son had to check him a couple times.
Patty's son checked me once. He was just like, please stop talking about my mama and this man. I'm like, bro, it's not my fault your mama's hot, bro. Like, what do you want me to do? It's not like I'm being disrespectful. She's just hot.
Now, I remember my friends and I got into an argument in the car one time. We were listening to I Don't Mind. And
Mm-hmm.
one of my friends was really upset about the song. She was like,
What was you upset about?
because I guess she was being very judgmental about women that are, strippers. And she was like, why would he do a song like this? And I'm like, he's just saying that. First of all, he's from Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't mad at you for a little bit for that stripper song. Yeah.
Huh?
No, go ahead.
No, I'm telling you,
Yeah,
for
they
real.
were
My
mad.
friend got into a heated argument. I think part of it was because her boyfriend just cheated on her with a stripper, so she had her own personal feelings.
Ooh.
No, for real. She had her own personal
Okay.
feelings involved.
Yeah.
But she was like, nah, F that. Why he got to do a song for them and blah, blah, blah.
She worked hard. She deserved to be celebrated. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
More than just the money.
Nothing worse than when
I
I
don't
go to
mind.
the strip club and these women are working hard and nobody's throwing no money.
Yeah, man, that's the worst.
Could you wife a stripper though, Usher? Like,
I haven't. You know what I'm saying? But I don't have no problem with strippers. I ain't got no problem with a woman who, has to do what she got to do. That's it.
You don't mind.
Yeah. I mean, the song said it.
Did you get a lot of flack? Did you get a lot of flack? Because that was the first time. And then since then, like a couple of other people, like a couple of my other friends have commented on it also. But did women get upset about that in any way?
You know what? They probably did, but they celebrated it too when it played. Because I mean, people, I think they tend to, be more technical when it comes to me. I don't know. Maybe there's an expectation to not, look at the entire world that we live in. If you see me in a strip club, then you know that I like strippers. You know what I'm saying? Or at least I enjoy adult entertainment. You know what I'm saying? But that song is just a piece of where we are. You know what I'm saying?
you know why people look at you like that? Because of Confessions, and it was so transparent and so
Yeah, but
real.
I ain't really talk about like, getting the,
But people think all your music is literal.
yeah.
Real.
Yeah.
Like, that's the point. It is.
How personal would you say this album is? Hard to Love.
I mean, the process was personal. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of checked in. I mean, you think about like collecting music over 2 years, because I stopped. I started back up. I've kind of allowed it to be a journal at times. Allowed people to be able to, kind of look in. And I was honest. You know what I'm saying? I was honest about some of the things that I experienced, and kind of told the story, if you listen to it from the beginning all the way down, of how it kind of, all happened and came to to fruition.
I like it because you do narrate throughout it somewhat.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
I mean, the music is narrating. What the story is narrating kind of that transformation and me being open about being hard to love.
And hard to trust.
Yep.
So if you tell a girl that and you cheat, it's kind of on her. 'Cause
Not
you told
really.
her.
No.
I mean, hard to love ain't just necessarily cheating. It's just kind of getting through the layers of, of just fear, man. Boy, you kind of put all these blocks up when you go through, life's changes. I went through a divorce. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like I kind of have had, 100% like great relationships all the way across the board. So with all of that, I made it very difficult for a lot of women. I was hard on them.
You
know what
kind
I'm
of
saying?
take the blame for.
Yeah, I took the
everything,
blame
pretty
for a
much.
lot of the things that I kind of went through.
Yeah, but what did
I
you
don't
have to
take
do-
all of it, but I can own my part.
But how do women trust you now? Because you're still Usher. You talked about your life on these records.
And you're
They see
saying
what you
you're
did.
hard to trust on the
You
title
said,
track of the
and
new
then-
record.
But
That's
you're still
right.
touring. You're still in the strip clubs. You're still. So how do they still trust Usher?
He giving himself a window. He got a little door open. So if I mess up, I told you what I'm about.
No.
I mean, I'm just being honest for all men, not just myself. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I
Don't
think
speak
that.
for me. I'm faithful. Okay, all right. I don't want no
I want
problem.
you to speak for me.
But you are definitely hard to love.
Yeah,
Yes, that is
100%.
That is true.
Do you think women don't take responsibility enough for our part?
I think y'all do. I think that you probably do more than you need to, and I think that maybe men don't necessarily understand how to say it. I think that we both speak different languages, you know what I'm saying? And we could be saying it very clearly and you don't get it. So like when you break it down to the the simplest common denominator, it makes it easy. It makes the conversation easy to kind of move through. Like I said, I kind of you know, and I wrote with a lot of people. I wrote with PJ. I wrote with BB Borelli. I wrote with Ty Dolla $ign, and kind of helping to tell the conversation or either make sure it was clear so that, hey, this the emotion of what I'm trying to say. I want to make sure that people understand exactly what I'm trying to say.
You work with the old fam, JD and Brian Michael Cox?
We worked with a lot. You know what?
They got Metro Boomin on there too.
Yeah. It was a lot of mixtures. You know what I'm saying? And you know, music don't just stop with this one album. I'm gonna continue. What's beautiful about what Title is it gives you an opportunity to just kind of launch whatever you feeling, and that ain't just a shameless plug for real. Like,
man.
Yeah, you gotta because like for instance, when I put out a record around you know, just kind of social activation and just giving people an understanding of where we were, you know what I'm saying, and what we're dealing with and where this conversation comes from, where it started. And it was a song called Chains. I put that out, and there's going to be a ton of songs or things that I'll just put out randomly on Tidal or either other places. This will be, you know, my 8th album, and I kind of am in a place where I talk, I kind of work on what I feel. You know, I'm collaborating, mixing different things, going back old school, worked with, you know, B. Cox, JD on a couple of records. A lot of those records are not on this album, but you know, in the process of just kind of, you know, just putting music out there, you're gonna hear a lot of it.
Now we were talking before about artists, and you said you did changes. Is it
Chains?
Is it gonna be more music like that, like back in the day when I know we were growing up? Our parents
let Trump be our president.
Marvin Gaye, and it felt like it was for the people.
Let Trump get in the White House, and I'm telling you, I think that you're really gonna start feeling the tension. You know what I mean? And while we are in a position where, as black entrepreneurs and you know, in the positions that you are, there's a lot of anger, you know, and a lot of, you know, frustration and resentment, and I think he's feeling that. And I think that you're going to feel it. You're going to feel it in the music. Y'all going to feel it as business people. You know what I'm saying? I think that we're all going to feel it, especially those of color, those people of color or minorities. You're going to feel it.
How do you feel about the NFL protest?
I have no issue with the fact that, you know, each person has their own right to display what issue they have. And I think that, you know, it's complicated to hear, you know, one, what Kaepernick has had to say, and then there's really no response to what he's saying. There's more or less the conversation about what he's doing. But what about what he's standing up for? What about what he's advocating for? What about the issue that we know is a reality here in America, and we're not addressing it? Right. Are we really addressing the issue? Are we going back and looking at the judicial system? Are we actually beginning to like unravel what the issue is and why this is a problem? You know what I'm saying? No, we're not.
People care about the action more than they care about the message.
I think they care about the escape is to be able to just focus on being non-patriotic.
Right.
I don't think that we really are looking at what he's talking about.
If you love this country, then you should want things to be better always. And if you feel like that's the way to get the message out there.
So you caught it. I'm happy that you understood. Women always get it.
We all understood.
Women, that's why we headed towards having a woman leader of this country, and I think that's great right now.
What conversation?
Sensible.
What conversation do you have with your sons? You have a couple black boys.
Yep.
Why you say it like that?
That sounded
You sound like a racist. You sound so oppressive.
I got a couple of black boys too.
Couple of young black men.
You have a couple
Jesus
of young black
Christ.
boys. They're not men yet. They're young boys.
Lord
They're
have
young
mercy.
Boys. They're impressionable.
How about just you have 2 sons?
So that's from the South. You did that boy thing,
That
right?
hurt, man.
It sounded crazy. You got a couple black boys.
It doesn't. You have 2 young black sons, right?
Yeah.
What conversations do you have with them about everything that's going on? Because everything is so social now.
Ta-Nehisi Coates, he wrote this book, and he wrote a book to his son, and it then made me, you know what I'm talking about?
Between the World and Me.
Right.
Great
Great book. After reading that book, I then began to understand the reality of how important fathers are for kids right now. We have to be able to communicate with our sons and make them aware and prepare them for the world that is judging them. They're living in a different space and time, and while the reality that there is somebody out there who has the right to take your life, you should be aware that a situation can escalate, you know, and you should be responsible in that moment and stay alive. That's the whole point. Stay alive in that process.
Make it whole.
And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of anger. If you look at what's going on in the fact that nobody's, you know, staying or either able to stay the course. There's major conversations about what happens. We'll look on the news. We'll see what's going on with Trayvon Martin. We'll see what's going on with these court cases, and then it kind of dwindles. Hey, back to the next news thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's really up to us as men, as fathers of our children, to have that conversation, have those difficult conversations with them to let them know this